All right, so at Fred Segal in Hollywood, so we're going to be starting a press conference for the Yes on AB 44. So basically, we want to try to ban the use of fur in clothes in California, and there's a lot more details to it. But we're going to have a really cool press conference where everyone can tell you all about it. Okay, so take a look around. You can kind of see the behind the scenes. These are all the news cameras that'll be here. All right, so enjoy.
Laura Friedman. But first, I want to welcome you to West Hollywood, the first fur-free city in America. We believe West Hollywood to be the most humane city in America, as this fur ban was one instance among many in which our city worked to advance animal advocacy over the 35 short years of cityhood. In 2011, West Hollywood introduced an ordinance to ban the sale of fur apparel. There was some pushback from various folks. Vogue magazine weighed in, the fur industry, of course, and some brands said our efforts would hurt business in the city. But we moved forward. We worked closely with our business community to be sure that we could stick with our core values as a city, phase out the sale of fur, and keep West Hollywood a thriving place for fashion and style. In September 2013, the ordinance went into effect. The business community in West Hollywood is booming, and more specifically, many global brands in the apparel industry have joined us in our efforts no longer using fur in their fashion houses. Many opening showrooms and style houses right here in West Hollywood, for example, Fred Segal, which opened here on the Sunset Strip. One final thing. When we passed this ordinance, I was asked what I thought might happen next. I said eventually other cities across the country would follow. It is what West Hollywood does best. We invent the ideas that other cities consume. And so it happened. Berkeley, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and now the state of California. It is a terrific moment for animal advocacy, and I am honored to introduce Laura Friedman, Assembly Member of the great state of California. Ms. Friedman.
There's a lot of volunteers here, and we just had a rally last week in Sacramento where we had hundreds of people come out to support AB 44. When we had our last hearing a couple of weeks ago, we had a large group of people who actually walked from the Bay Area to Sacramento over 4 days to show their support for this legislation. So I am Laura Friedman. I have the honor of representing the 43rd District in the State Assembly. That includes Hollywood and Silver Lake and Glendale, Burbank, La Cañada. And I'm here today because I introduced a bill to bring the policies that are held by West Hollywood and now by City of Los Angeles and the City of San Francisco statewide to make California our fashion cruelty-free. So this is important because Californians have expressed over and over again through the ballot box that they care about the welfare of animals. Californians placed on the ballot and passed a measure to make sure that egg-laying hens have enough room to move around. They also expressed through the ballot box and legislation measures over and over again to make sure that animals raised for food are raised humanely. Californians have told us that when they buy a product on the shelf in California that contains animal products, they want the assurance that that animal was raised and slaughtered humanely. Unfortunately, with fur products, we cannot make that guarantee. Fur that's used in clothing is usually sourced overseas, in Eastern Europe, in Asia, in countries far outside the reach of our regulations and far outside of the eyes of the people. We know from first-hand accounts, and we're going to hear a little bit about that today, that these animals are raised in inhumane fashion and they are slaughtered horribly. These are wild animals that by their very nature want to roam and be free. These are not domesticated animals. When you put wild animals in small, cramped cages, they suffer. When you slaughter them without any kind of regulation, we know that that leads to suffering. And that's not what people of California want from fashion. We have so many alternatives now for cruelty-free synthetic fur that there's no excuse to raise and slaughter an animal, to have an animal trapped in the wild and left to suffer for days in a leg trap just for the sake of a coat. Now, our bill is reasonable. It allows for fur that comes from food-bearing animals like cow and sheep to still be used. We allow the sale of used first, so no one's going to be prosecuted for wearing grandma's mint stole. This is to set the tone to say that California expects anything sold on the shelf to be as cruelty-free as possible, and we fully expect other states to follow our lead. And we've already seen this measure now introduced in New York State and in Hawaii. So this is a wave that's capturing the entire United States and the fashion industry, with retailers like Diane von Furstenberg and Prada and Versace and H&M and many others saying, we don't want our fashion to be associated with a cruel trade. We are ourselves going fur-free. Now, we're here today at Fred Segal, which was proud to be one of the first retailers in the state of California and the nation to go completely fur-free, and we want to thank them for that. I'm also very proud to announce that the California Democratic Party just last night adopted a resolution in favor of AB 44.
Yeah.
Great speakers today, and our first wonderful speaker who's joined us is the famous, fabulous Kat Von D. With that, Kat Von D.
I am Kat Von D, and I am a proud founder and owner of several brands, and both cruelty-free. But I must say that when I first started Kat Von D Beauty, it was I was still using animal-based ingredients in our products, and it did take some time and a little bit of money and some patience. And we reformulated, and guess what? Like, our company is thriving. And so when I hear people in the industry, especially in the fur industry, saying that this is going to affect businesses, let me tell you, like, we're living in a time where people, consumers especially, are passionate about making compassionate purchases. And so I'm so excited to be here and with all of you, and just listening to everybody's passion for such a great cause. Because I do believe that we can be proud to be in California for more reasons than we already are, especially if we can be leading in that way by saying, hey, we don't want fur here, we don't want it to be legal. I love that. And so anyways, thank you so much for having me and supporting this amazing cause.
Working in animal welfare, being fairly new to the legislature, but we have advocates with us here today who really dedicated their lives to this cause, and I'm really happy to be able to introduce one of them to you right now. One of the sponsors of the bill, Mark Ching, who's the founder of Animal Hope and Legislation.
My name is Mark Ching. I'm the founder of a group called Animal Hope and Wellness and Animal Hope and Legislation, one of the proud sponsors of the bill. We helped to make Los Angeles fur-free just last year, and we have some of the same people back supporting the bill, so it's great to see that. I guess you can never really understand what something is until you see it for your own eyes. We have been there into these farms. We've gone into Finland, China, Canada, here in the U.S., undercover to document some of the worst forms of cruelty seen. These images, they never leave you. When you come home at night, you never forget them. And to watch an animal spend their whole entire lives in these small cages, only to be tortured at the end, smashed in the face, electrocuted, many of them as their skin's still alive, that's why we're here. We're here to speak for those that cannot leave these farms, that have no future, just so people can have something to wear and look good. Fashion has escalated into something else where the people who live in California and the world want something compassionate. We live in a day and age where cruelty isn't allowed or tolerated anymore, and many companies are going fur-free. They're becoming more humane in every single way possible. As I mentioned, you can never fully understand what it's like until you see it for yourself. To hear those screams, to hear that suffering, that dying, and to watch an animal with no skin lying on the ground dying. That's why this has to pass. That's why all of us are here to support AB 44. That's why we're trying to ban fur in California, because there is no way possible to make that humane. No way possible to standardize that industry. No way possible to skin an animal and say, that's okay. Thank you for your strong leadership, Laura, for making this possible, and to all the groups that supported us along the way. And it's great to be here, and we're at the final stage, and we're humbled and we're gracious, and we believe that we can be different. Yes on AB 44. Thank you.
And have supported AB 44. As well, AB 44 has received support from major fashion companies such as InStyle Magazine, Hugo Boss, H&M, Zara, Diane von Furstenberg, and California companies like Patagonia and Gap. Californians care about animal welfare, the environment, and innovation more than ever. And fashion brands are responding by developing sustainable materials that have the same look and feel as fur, but without the cruelty or environmental degradation. There's no better example of this than our next speaker. She's gone from working at a brand known for its fur to becoming one of the most popular faux fur companies out there, and has helped create the next generation of luxury, one based on innovation and social responsibility. California, too, can capitalize on this growing humane market, and instead of holding on to a dying industry. I'd like to welcome Kim Cantor, CEO and founder of House of Fluff.
Thank you so much. It's an honor. Can you guys hear me? It's an honor to stand here today before you in support of AB 44. My name is Kim Cantor, and I've been in the fashion industry for 20 years. First as a magazine editor, then as a stylist, then as creative director of a luxury brand known for making animal fur products. My crisis of consciousness came after learning about the cruel ways animals were treated and the toll that these ways and practices took on the environment. I left my job, I sold 26 of my own fur coats, and created a cruelty-free brand called House of Fluff. The fashion industry worldwide has become increasingly concerned with sustainability and animal welfare. This is the future. At House of Fluff, we are actively creating fur-free textiles that have the same warmth, style, and longevity as animal fur for a fraction of the cost. Today, we are working with chemists to create bio-based faux fur that can decompose in the earth. This fall, we'll be launching a faux fur shearling product that's made from 100% recycled plastic bottles. As consumer demand for these textiles grows and society shifts away from cruel practices, there will be even more opportunities for jobs. Jobs in California and jobs worldwide. And these will be sustainable jobs that will help to create a cleaner and more humane world. AB 44, that's the future, start here in your state. You can help to put innovation and sustainability on the map, help to create jobs, to create fashion, and to help foster the growth of companies like mine that are on the right side of good. Thank you. He's the former bassist of the band No Doubt and a member of the band Green Car.
My name is Tony Canal. I am a musician with 2 young children that I've raised to be ethical vegans. My wife and I have taught them that 2 of the most important values we as humans hold are kindness and compassion. What happens to the animals we use to make the coats and other fur products is anything but kind of compassion. It is barbaric. As a resident of the great state of California, I'm here to lend my voice and to urge the members of the Senate to vote in support of the California Fur Bill. Animals that live on fur farms spend their entire lives trapped in cages and suffer some of the most brutal deaths just so people can wear something they feel is fashionable. We're here to say that animal fur is not only antiquated, but completely unnecessary, especially in light of the incredible achievements and progress of the faux fur industry. California, once again, has an opportunity to show not only the rest of the country, but the rest of the world that we are a leader in kindness, that we are a collection of citizens who care about those who have the privilege is power. What happens in California will set the tone for the rest of the country. But what this country needs more than anything at this moment is positive leadership, hope, and an example of compassion. Thank you.
And our last speaker, and certainly not least, is the amazing and fabulous Maggie Q, who's an actress, model, and animal advocate. She's a star of Netflix Designated Survivor and a leader in bringing an end to animal cruelty in California. We're very happy to have her with us today.
Is this working?
No.
It is? Okay, great. I'm going to be loud anyway. I just have a few notes on my phone, not texting. Hi, everyone. I'm Maggie Q. I'm Vice President of Political Affairs, Social Compassion, and Legislation, and I want to thank you for your attention today on this matter of great importance. To HSUS and Animal Hope and Wellness, thank you for organizing this event and leading the charge with Assemblymember Laura Friedman on AB 44, statewide ban on the sale of fur in California. I also want to just shout out to the mayor of West Hollywood, who we spoke earlier about just the seed that West Hollywood had planted with this going for free. It really is the innovation and ideas of people like him that spark something in people, maybe something that people want to do but haven't thought about, and it's because of people like you that happens. So thank you for your leadership on that. It's why we elect people, so that they can act like leaders, and hopefully they do. Having experience in fighting for compassionate legislation, I want to truly commend Mark and Laura and HSUS and everyone else who's been fighting for this bill, because to get this far is extremely difficult, especially with a bill like this, especially with a lobby that is incredibly powerful and has a ton of money and a loud voice. We are animal rights activists, so we deal with small budgets, and we deal with a lot of passion and big hearts. And I think for as small as our resources are, we speak very loud for the animals, and we will not stop doing that. I want to talk about a couple of things. One is a poll that our group Social Compassion and Legislation had conducted last fall to see how residents felt about fur and exotic skins in the state of California. 71.3% of Californians support a ban on fur. That is an incredible number. 75% of Californians support a ban on exotic skins. So we were doing a poll to figure out what the majority wanted, and the truth is we have a super majority. And that is, across the board, bigger than anything that you can really state, because it doesn't matter what our legislatures feel about animals. It doesn't matter whether they think this is cruel, which it is. It doesn't matter whether they want to express compassion in their legislation. Your constituents are saying to you, this is something that matters to us, and that in the state of California, we are demanding protection for animals, and that's the bottom line. So I encourage the chairman of the committee and your fellow assemblymen to encourage one another to get this out of committee, to get this passed, because this is the right side of history that we should be on in California. Thank you.
And with that, we'll take any questions from the press. Wow, you must have done a great job.
What's the next hurdle? I mean, this is a strong fight for all of you, but I'm going to assume there's that one last hurdle that's going to be the toughest challenge. What is that hurdle?
Thank you for the question. We have 3 hurdles coming up. So the bill has gotten off the floor of the Assembly, and I will say that it was bipartisan support for the bill, and the bill did better than we expected on the floor of the Assembly. So we are very confident if the bill comes back to the Assembly of continuing moving it through. Right now, the bill is on suspense in Senate Appropriations, which means that the Appropriations Committee, even though this is not truly a fiscal bill, they've held the bill. They're either going to let the bill out, or they'll let it out with amendments, or they won't let it out at all. If they don't let the bill out at all, it's dead for the year. It's dead, actually. If they let it out, then it goes to the floor of the Senate, and then it has to have a vote there. So that's the next hurdle. And then assuming it gets off the Senate floor, it goes to the governor. Then the governor will have to sign it or not sign it. And that's the last hurdle. So we're taking it one step at a time. Right now we're focusing on Senate appropriations.